Welcome back. In our last study, we stood in awe of John 1:14, where the eternal Word became flesh and dwelt among us, full of grace and truth. This was the most momentous event in history. Now, as John closes his magnificent prologue, he explains the implications of this grace and truth. He brings his opening argument to its stunning conclusion, showing us why Jesus' coming changed everything about how we relate to and understand God. The author briefly revisits the testimony of John the Baptist, who cried out that even though Jesus came after him, he ranks before me, because he was before me. This is John the Baptist's way of saying Jesus is eternal. He has always existed as the living Word. Building on this, verse 16 says, "For from his fullness we have all received grace upon grace." This beautiful phrase is meant to communicate that God's grace in Jesus is limitless and inexhaustible. There's no bottom to it. This truth protects us from two errors. One is thinking we can take advantage of God's grace and live however we want. The other is the tragic belief that we are just one sin away from being cut off. God's grace is bigger than our sin. This grace stands in stark contrast to what came before. Verse 17 makes the comparison plain. For the law was given through Moses, grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. We are no longer under a covenant of law, but a far better covenant of grace through Jesus. This leads to the final powerful verse of the prologue. It starts with a bold statement. No one has ever seen God. This means no human has ever seen God in his full, unbridled glory. Even Moses, who asked to see God's face, was told, "No man can see me and live." He was only allowed to see the trailing edge of God's glory. So if God is invisible and unapproachable, how can we know him? John gives the answer. The only God who is at the Father's side. He has made him known. Jesus is the revealer of the Father. The Greek word for made him known gives us our word exegesis. Jesus literally exegetes or explains the Father to us. As Jesus later told his disciples, "Whoever has seen me has seen the Father." This is why John refers to Jesus as the only God, or as some translations put it, the only begotten Son. The word begotten signifies equality. As the begotten of the Father, Jesus is of the Father, and therefore equal to the Father. He is the unique God who makes the Father known. And so, John's prologue is complete. He has taken us from eternity past, where the Word was with God and was God through creation, to the pinnacle moment when the Word became flesh. He did this to bring us limitless grace and most profoundly to reveal the unseen Father to us. Everything that follows in this gospel, every miracle, every teaching, every conversation will build upon this foundation, showing us the glory and grace of the God who has been made known in Jesus Christ.